Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Bethany King. I am a top producing real estate broker. You may have known me from TikTok, and today I'm going to go through one of the most important videos that you ever have to watch if you're interested in buying real estate, and that is what I call the ultimate buyer guide. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few sections that are very important. So number one, we're going to talk about mortgage pre-approvals. Then we're going to go into the role of real estate agents. I'm going to touch a little bit on market data and like the important statistics that you need to know. I'm going to talk about how to do showings, how to do offers, and everything that is required in order to get clear to close. All right, so let's get into it. If you're new here, it was always a dream for me to buy my own property, and I actually lived in my parents' basement for 6 years before I was able to buy my own property. And I was so focused on my goals that, two years from when I started real estate, I actually bought a property down the street from my parents. So it's a major accomplishment for me as a single mother at the time, and I'm very proud of that. And I've learned this process not only being in real estate, but also being a first-time home buyer myself. So I'm going to break it all down. By the end of this video, you will have all of the knowledge and tools that you need in order to go into the home buying process feeling cool, feeling calm, and collected. Okay, so you may have heard about pre-approvals if you're new to buying real estate. Now, what is a pre-approval? A pre-approval is essentially a budget for you to go shopping, and lenders are going to evaluate you and how much money you can afford to pay on a mortgage based on how much money that you earn and your current financial obligations. So there is like a very detailed mathematical calculation that goes on behind the scenes, and the lenders and the banks are determining, they have their own ways of measuring risk. So if I give buyer Bobby $500,000, how do I know that he's going to pay it back? What is his credit history? Your credit score is a number that represents your trustworthiness with other people's money. Right? So that's why people always tell you, make sure that your credit is in good standing. When your credit is in good standing, then lenders and banks will look at you more favorably, but also you will be provided with the best interest rate. So you'll be making the most on your investments. In regards to the total amount that you are given by a bank, it will be dependent on your income. So if buyer Bobby, let's say for the sake of this example, he's making minimum wage, the banks are not going to give him, a $2 million mortgage that he could not afford. They're only going to give him a calculation based on how much money he's already earning. And that calculation also will account for his current financial obligation. I won't nerd out too deeply into this today. If you want me to do a deep dive more into this, just let me know in the comments. One thing that you must think about if you are considering buying a property is financing a vehicle. Putting a car payment on your credit, starting a new car payment is a very significant detriment to somebody who is thinking about going into home ownership. So word of advice, if you are kind of in between both, I would secure the home first and then worry about financing a vehicle later on down the line. Now with a mortgage pre-approval, that's actually 3 steps. So you have an initial consultation with a mortgage broker or a bank. I always prefer to work with mortgage brokers, and I actually have access to the best brokers in the entire country who get my clients the best rates every single time. So if you are looking to get pre-approved, go into the description and book a one-on-one consultation with me. You will have an initial consultation where mortgage broker will ask you income, credit, how much do you have saved for a down payment so far. From then, he has to collect information from you so that when he goes to the lenders, he can prove that you're good for the money. So it's very common for them to collect letter of employment, pay stubs, and to also run your credit. Once the mortgage broker or the bank has all of your information, they will be able to determine how much you can afford to purchase. And then you are off to shop. Now, you're going to shop around, and when you find the home of your dreams, you're going to make an offer. After you make an offer, your real estate agent, me, is going to take all those documentation, and she's going to provide it to the mortgage broker, who's going to take it back to the lender, and they're going to go into it again. So this is a second step in a 3-step process. Only after the lender evaluates the APS documents, evaluates the property, evaluates you as a candidate, then they will come back with a commitment. Okay, now we're still not done. Even at the commitment, although you have secured financing, the lender may ask you to satisfy a few other conditions prior to closing. And this will all make sense later on as I go through, this entire guide. So your mortgage pre-approval is actually 3 steps. Initial consultation, getting an offer in, and then being broker complete, which is when you are clear to close. And that, in a nutshell, is how mortgage pre-approvals work. Now, the second part of this are the role of the real estate agents. So in every transaction, there's 2 agents. There's the agent that represents the seller, and then there's the agent that represents the buyer. Whenever you see a home for sale on MLS or wherever, there will be an agent representing that seller, and that agent has a fiduciary duty to represent the best interests of the seller. I think it's a common misconception that sometimes buyers think if I just approach the selling agent, then I will somehow be able to get a better deal in this market. That just simply is not true. Now, the listing agent's job is to provide information on the properties, help facilitate showings, and ultimately represent the seller. Now, this is why you as a buyer need your own buyer agent. Your buyer agent provides confidential assistance, leveraging their expertise to navigate complex transactions, ensuring that you as the client receive personalized guidance while maintaining the privacy of sensitive information. It's their job to give you expert advice on pricing as well, by conducting thorough market analyses, assessing comparable properties, and utilizing industry knowledge to help buyers determine reasonable offer prices. They have a duty to protect you by upholding fiduciary responsibilities and leveraging professional expertise to prioritize and safeguard the best interests for you. It's their job to discover and disclose information about the property, including liens, through meticulous research involving public records, title searches, and ensuring that clients are well informed about any potential encumbrances. Your buyer agent negotiates on your best interest by leveraging market knowledge, communication skills, and experience to secure favorable terms, pricing, and ensure optimal outcomes for you. And lastly, your buyer agent structures and schedules appointments for you by coordinating with all relevant parties, effectively managing appointments to showcase homes and facilitate the viewing process for you. Now, as your buyer agent, I have a fiduciary duty to you. Okay, now what does that mean? It's like having a trusted guide on a journey to find and secure the perfect home. Just as a guide prioritizes your safety on an adventure, I'm committed to putting your best interest first in the world of property transactions. Now, this means that I work diligently to get you the best deal possible. I give you honest advice, and I handle your personal information with the utmost confidentiality. This is why it's so important to have a buyer agent representing you on a real estate transaction, which could be one of the most important transactions of your life. The third part of this is understanding market data. Okay, now you think about, where do you get your information? Probably on realtor.ca, on Zillow, on any sort of third-party website. You may have heard of bidding wars and hearing about properties selling, crazy over asking, 100,000 to 200,000 over asking, and wondering, why is that? How can I remain competitive? Now, the truth is that a list price is just marketing. If a seller lists their home for $1, it does not mean that they have to accept an offer at $1. And this is where you really need a real estate agent on your side to help you navigate this. Because as a consumer, you simply do not have access to the data on the back end that is used when determining a property's value. All you really have access to is that list price. And all of these third-party websites sometimes have outdated or incorrect information. Now, in bidding wars, I have successfully had bidding wars for my sellers, and I have successfully represented buyers who have also won bidding wars. I've won deals without being the highest offer on the table, and there is a strategy on how to do this, okay? So, with bidding wars, what I do differently. What sets me apart as an agent is my meticulous approach. I conduct a thorough analysis of a property's actual value, utilizing my expertise and leveraging my professional network in order to gauge a seller's true expectations. Now, the expectations also need to be in line with what a property would generally appraise at, but if we can have an alignment with the seller's expectations and market realities, then we can make strategic and informed decisions. All right, so don't be afraid of a bidding war as a buyer. there is a way that we can get through this together. Showings. How should we do showings? What is the best way to do this? Now, with me and my team, we always recommend that if you are relocating to a new area, drive by the area first. Scope it out. See if it's something that can work for you. In regards to finding all the nitty-gritty details, I can help you isolate what schools your children would go to, give you information on census data of the neighborhood demographics, and more information if you're relocating to an area that you're unfamiliar with. Now, during the showing process, this is so important when narrowing down your home, and this is where we have a lot of fun. It's important to understand what your price range offers to you. It's always important to look at different types and styles of home as well to see. You may be surprised. I have so many clients who come in saying that they want one certain thing, and then they end up getting something completely different. So during the showing process, you want to have a lot of fun. You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself either. And it's important for you to go through this so that you know that you'll never miss a good deal when it comes along. Also, when you are looking for a home, it's important to be very clear onto whether or not you are looking for a primary residence or an investment property. Okay, I can't tell you how many times over the years I have had clients who say, oh, I want to, get something that I will rent out, but I also want to live in it down the line, or vice versa. And the reality is that just doesn't exist. Okay. When you are buying an investment property, it is very easy to identify what is a good investment property. It's based on price, location, rental rates. All right. When you're choosing an investment property, you don't hold value on the kitchen cabinets or the types of flooring per se. When you are looking at a primary residence, all of a sudden, things like the neighborhood, the layout, the kitchen cabinets, the amount of square footage, the length of the backyard, the length of the driveway, the set, like all of these other things start taking precedent over, what's important in your decision making. So when you are looking at buying a home, especially in Southern Ontario and the GTA, it's really important that a primary residence is something completely separate and opposite from an investment property. So differentiate that from the very beginning, and it'll be very easy to see what is the best option for you. Now, when we find a property that you love, then we're going to do an offer, okay? Now, during the offer process, as your buyer agent, what I do is I will do the research for you to determine whether or not the list price is reasonable and aligned with market realities and expectations. The goal is that I will do the research for you so that you never overpay for a home. I prepare the offer for you as well that protects you following your instructions. And we use digital signing software for this. I explain the details of the offer so that you're well informed through this process and you have an understanding of what you're signing and what you're offering to the seller. And then I will present and negotiate the offer on your behalf to get you the home that you want at the price that you want. The most common conditions that we come across when we're buying a resale property are financing, which is this offer is conditional on the buyer securing financing. The second one is a home inspection. So if we're looking at a freehold property, this offer is conditional on the buyer doing a home inspection and finding the home inspection appropriate and approved to their absolute sole discretion. So when we're doing a home inspection, there is no pass or fail, right? It's an opportunity for the buyer to do a deep, in-depth home inspection and then to be happy with all of their findings. The third most common condition that we come across is one called status certificate review. So whenever you're buying a property that has a maintenance fee, whether that's a condo apartment, a condo townhouse, or even a freehold townhouse with a parcel of tied land, it could be a modular home, it could be so many other things. But whenever there is a monthly maintenance fee, then we always do an offer on the condition that the buyer's lawyer will review the status certificate. Okay, so what is the status certificate? That is a long 200-page document that outlines why the maintenance fees are what they are. Okay, now I won't nerd out on this today, but essentially when you're paying maintenance fees, it goes into a pool of money, and that money is managed by the condo corporation, most commonly used to maintain the complex, repair anything that's damaged, maybe do renovations, sometimes it satisfies some lawsuits, can get very, very detailed. But if you are buying a property that has a maintenance fee associated with it, you always, always, always want to have your lawyer review the status certificate in its entirety, explain it to you, because this will also tell you, will the maintenance fees go up? Will they go down? Is there enough money saved in the reserve fund, to account if there is some sort of damage to the underground parking or whatever? Okay, so that is the third most common condition that we see in offers. And yeah, we have other conditions and other clauses, but just generally at a high level, these are the three most common conditions that you may come across, and that's what they mean. Also, you need your deposit money, right? So this is where a lot of buyers get confused. When you're buying a property, yes, you have a down payment for your home, but when you are making an offer, you will take a portion of that cash that you have for down payment and you actually provide it upon acceptance of your offer, okay? So this is called like an earnest money deposit, and it's made in good faith. And it's meant to show the sellers your level of seriousness to intent to purchase this property. Now, this is common practice, not just in Canada. They do this in the US, they do this in the UK, I'm pretty sure as well in Australia. This is just part of the process, and I find that a lot of buyers are unaware of it. So your deposit money is not over and above your down payment. It is a portion of your down payment that is provided to the listing brokerage upon acceptance of your offer. That money is held in trust, and then on closing day, that money is released and it goes towards your purchase, right? So when you are shopping, you want to make sure that you have that deposit money, which is usually 5% of the purchase price, and you need to have it liquid into an account. What you don't want to do is have it tied up in an investment, in a mutual fund, in a GIC, something like that. It needs to be liquid ready so that when you find the home of your dreams and we have an accepted offer, we can provide that earnest money deposit. And if you have more questions on this, you can book a one-on-one with me. Now, this is the last chapter, which I say is clear to close. Okay, so at this point, we're pre-approved. We've done the showings. We've done an offer. Our offer has been accepted. We provided the deposit. We've gone through our conditions on the offers. We satisfied all of them. We satisfied all the conditions with the bank or lender as well. We are broker complete. And now we are clear to close. Now, from that period of satisfying all the conditions to actually closing and moving in, I always bring my buyers for 1 to 2 final walkthroughs. This gives them the opportunity to do some measurements, figure out their furniture, but most importantly, we want to check the property before we move in to make sure that it's in the same state and condition that it was when we had purchased it. Then after that, on closing day, the funds are sent to the lawyer sends it to the seller, and you just bought a house. Now, the next thing is you have to go to HomeSense every single day and design your home. And that is your ultimate buyer guide. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If there's anything else that you want me to address regarding buying a property, just let me know and I'd be happy to go into them. But otherwise, thank you for watching.